Up next on the One Up Gaming podcast is 10 minutes of nothing. Will it be the team talking about nothing or a guest interview? Stick around and find out now. It's 10 minutes of nothing. Yeah, 10 minutes of nothing.
Hello, David here, One Up Gaming, episode 278 of the One Up Gaming podcast. Now this is the Game of the Year 2021 sort of specially edition thing. So I guess we'll cut straight into, and I'll just sort of say, so worst game of the year. I guess I'll add this game onto the list while I remember. Right, so worst game of the year 2021. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games on the list. So we'll have a number 1 and then the 2 runners-up of worst game of the year. So there's 2 football games. There is a skateboarding game, there's a cel-shaded action game, there's an online game, there's a crazy taxi style game, there's a 3D platformer, and there's a open world game. So let's go through some of these names. So first of all, we have eFootball 2022. We have Balan Wonderworld. I always want to say Balan Wonderland, but it's Balan Wonderworld. We have Taxi Chaos. We have the Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition. We have Hellpoint. We have Foreclosed. We have FIFA 22, the Switch Edition. And we have Skatebird. So,
whatever we do it together.
Foreclosed, it wasn't bad, it just wasn't good. So that's off the list. Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, as it released, was an abomination. But they have patched things since, and it is now becoming acceptable. But it was a massive game, so that is on the list still. Trying to work out buttons. No, wrong one. Hit control. I don't know. Is it shift? Maybe shift. There we go. So we've got Grand Theft Auto still on the list. Hellpoint is a third-person MMO sort of futuristic-y sort of game. Now the graphics left a lot to be desired. It was very dark. It was very futuristic, but in a sort of like, imagine the Matrix. Everything's like dark metal and black, and it just didn't look good. So it wasn't a good game. It just wasn't a bad game. It was just very nothing about the whole game. Foreclosed, I really enjoyed the styling and the graphics of this game, but it just didn't play very well. So that's not gonna cut it. Skatebird, it was bad. It was really bad. I don't understand how this even got a green lit to be made as a game. It's a skateboarding game where you are a bird and you talk and tweet to people, and the physics are janky as hell. Everything just doesn't work very well. But it's better than some of these other games on the list. So I think that doesn't hang with the rest of them either. Taxi Chaos is a bad Crazy Taxi clone on the, I think it's on the Nintendo Switch. I wonder if it was on other systems. If it is, I might buy it. What did I say it was? Taxi Chaos. Here we go, Taxi Chaos, let's have a look. Oh, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and Steam. Here we go. Oh, and the Xbox One. Oh, it's on them all. It is on them all. So people ask, is Taxi Chaos a good game? It's a very attractive game. City that's brimming with colour, handled quite well, arcade experience, music that rocks but it's not the offspring. Pretty fun to play for about 5 minutes and then it goes into why it's bad. So I think that is a bad game, but it doesn't hang. And then there's Balan Wonderworld. Again, this is a bad game, but in a unimaginative, kind of very simple kind of way. So I'm thinking it's gotta be, it's the 2 football games in eFootball 2022 and FIFA 22 Switch, and then it's whoever comes. Do you know what? I'm actually going to put Grand Theft Auto as 3rd. So Grand Theft Auto 3rd, just because of the big budget behind it and the big developers or publishers should have done better. They should have even have just done the Grand Theft Auto 3 Definitive Edition, redone that one in the as if it's like the Grand Theft Auto 5 sort of engine, release that as it was the 20th anniversary of that game this year, and then I could have done the Grand Theft Auto Vice City 20th anniversary when that was in a year or two. They should have done it that way, in my opinion. If they can't do it right, then they shouldn't have bothered. So Grand Theft Auto, oh, I press buttons, I like pressing buttons. Grand Theft Auto is 3rd on the list. People might not agree with me, but eFootball 2022 was an absolute broken mess when it came out, and some might say it's still an absolute broken mess of a game. But it was free to play with add-ons available. FIFA 22 on the Switch is the same game as FIFA 21 on the Switch, which was the same game as FIFA 20 on the Switch, which was the same game as FIFA 19 on the Switch. So FIFA 22 on the Switch is the same game as the last 4 or 5 years, just added new kits and player updates. The whole gameplay is identical to a 4 or 5 year old game on the Switch, which, yes, it might have been satisfactory 5 years ago, but now it's just taking the absolute piss. It's still like a £50, £60, $60 sort of game. I could understand if they released it for like £19.99 and like $25, that kind of price point. But for the full price game, it is just taking the absolute piss. So for worst game of the year, we are choosing FIFA 22 on the Nintendo Switch. So EA Sports, please think what you're doing. Develop a new game. I know the Switch is underpowered and you're using the Android engine to power this game. You could still do better. eFootball 2022 is 2nd, and the Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the Definitive Edition is 3rd. So that is them. So we will have a quick little break and then we'll come into the full Game of the Year 2021 for Best Game of the Year. So back in a few seconds.
My name is Christopher Walken. Some of you may know me as the Cowbell Man. But I know that when I need more cowbell, I just listen to the Game Up podcast. What is it? The One Up Gaming podcast. Yeah, those guys.
So we're back. One Up Gaming episode 278 for the Game of the Year 2021 edition. Still me, David. So we're now on to the Game of the Year 2021. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
But this wasn't permission.
4, 5, 6, 7, 20. We've got 28 games, and I'll try and get these into a top 10 sort of list. So I'll just read through the games themselves, just so you know where we are at. So we've got It Takes Two, Deathloop, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Kenna Bridge of Spirits, Returnal, Metroid Dread, Tales of Arise, Forza Horizon 5, Age of Empires 4, Life is Strange True Colors, Tetris Effect Connected, Beyond the Steel Sky, Dark Deity, Resident Evil Village, Guilty Gear Strive, Hitman 3, Ratchet & Clank A Rift Apart, Psychonauts 2, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Ghosts of Tsushima Director's Cut, F1 21, try not to burp, Halo Infinite, Crash Bandicoot 4, Football Manager 2022, Chivalry 2, FIFA 22, and Sociable Soccer 21. So that is the list of games that we have got. So if I just say, before we go any further, oh, I've been given alcohol. Before we go any further, we'll play a quick thing for our Casey sent us a top 10 of their sort of game of the year. If anyone knows, is it Casey Calhoun? They do a lot of racing sort of reviews and retro reviews. A lot of like the old, I'm gonna blank on the names now, EA Racing, Need for Speed. A lot of like the Need for Speed sort of stuff. So great of her to sort of like get along and send that in for us. Now I'm being very careful of what I say, because I know I'm a stupid male. And so Jacksonville Beach, I'm not American, I don't know where that is. So anyway, please go on to YouTube and subscribe to Casey. Great videos, I love watching them. So we'll just play that now.
So 2021 has been a bit of a weird year for me in terms of my games of the year, in that almost everything I've been looking forward to going into 2021 ended up disappointing me or not coming out. A lot of what I played this year was stuff from, 2020, a couple years before that, or really old stuff. But I did manage to scrounge up a list of 10 of the best games I played this year. While they may not have been what I expected to play this year and enjoy, I'm definitely very pleasantly surprised. My number 10 is probably Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and yes, this is a remaster of a trilogy of games, but I've always enjoyed playing these games on console over PC, just because of the type of game they are. Legendary Edition made that a little easier, made it a lot smoother in 60 frames, and it made the original game play a lot better than it did back in the day. Number 9 is The Matrix Awakens, which, again, a bit of an odd one. It's a tech demo, it's not really a game. But I'm a massive Matrix fan, and I'm hoping that this is a sign that we might get a full, realized Matrix video game soon. My number 8 game of the year is Formula 1 2021. This is a yearly sports release, yes, but it is a massive improvement over 2020 in a lot of ways. And I know I'll be spending a lot of time in league races with friends in the months to come, so I'm looking forward to that. The game plays great, it has features that we've been asking for years, and it was another good step forward for the franchise. My number 7 game of the year is Cruisin' Blast. It's a very classic style arcade racing game. Not a whole lot to it, nothing revolutionary on display here, but what's here is just a very solid arcade racing, which is not something we get too often these days. Number 6 is Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is not a game I have finished, but it's a game I'm currently working through with my partner, and very much enjoying. I have never really gotten into Yakuza before. I didn't find it too gripping, but I'm really liking Ichiban's storyline, and I'm liking the turn-based combat a lot. My number 5 game of the year is Forza Horizon 5, and this was a bit of a surprise to me because I'm not a big fan of Forza Horizon and never have been. I feel the handling in Horizon 5 is a big step up from the previous game, and I think I might just be in the right headspace to enjoy it, but I've been enjoying it, and I wasn't expecting to. Number 4 is Hot Wheels Unleashed. Hot Wheels games being a guilty pleasure of mine, and a big part of my life since I was a kid. The new one looked fantastic, and I was a little worried given who was making it, but it's a great arcade racer, some of the best arcade racing I've played in years. The style is absolutely adorable and a slam dunk, and it's what we should have been getting for Hot Wheels games for the last 10 years instead of what we actually got, so I'm a big fan, and I hope to see more like it coming soon. Now, for the podium positions, we have Hell Let Loose for number 3, and Hell Let Loose is a very good World War II multiplayer shooter. It plays like a mix of like Red Orchestra and Battlefield, but it's way more intense than I feel like either one of those ever felt to me. It might just be the best World War II multiplayer game I've ever played, and I cannot encourage people more to go try it out for themselves. Now, my top 2 are indicative of a bit of a shift this year I had in my console usage, and that's that I actually used my Switch this year for the first time in a while. Number 2 was Pokemon Shining Pearl. Again, a remake, but, you know, Gen 4 of Pokemon was what I grew up with. And I was really looking forward to this remake, and it is everything I wanted it to be and more. It's kind of reignited my passion for the Pokemon franchise, and I've been playing through some of the other ones, and some fan games and ROM hacks after finishing it. And my undisputed game of the year is Metroid Dread. I'm sure this is going to be a common one for a lot of people, but it was actually my first Metroid game, my first Metroidvania in general, and I thought it was phenomenal. I really did enjoy it. The boss fights are some of the best boss encounters I've ever played in any game, and the atmosphere is unmatched. The horror of the enemies is, you know, it's real controller gripping stuff, and I'm hoping that this is just the sign of more Metroid to come, and that we don't have to wait 17 years for more of it, because I'm tearing my way through the rest of the franchise after beating Dread, and I'm hoping that I'll have more to play soon.
So there we go, so that's from Casey. Thank you so much for doing that for us. We've also got a top 10 list from Alana from the Retro Gamer Girls. Just find them on Twitter. I think it's just at Retro Gamer Girls. So at number 10, Tales of Arise. At number 9, Smelter. Number 8, Hot Wheels Unleashed. Number 7, Samurai Warriors 5. Number 6, Metroid Dread. Number 5, Islanders. Number 4, Rain on Your Parade. Number 3, Collection of Sega, Final Fantasy Legend. No idea, I've never heard of that. Number 2, The Kids We Were. And number 1, Speed Limit. So thank you for sending us that. And I guess we will start going through. So we need to set this down. So I'm happy to sort of say that Chivalry 2, although it's a fun game, it's not my sort of thing. It was just chaos. It was fun as hell, but it's just chaos. You just run at people and hit them with sticks until they fall over. So yes, it's a fun game, it's just not in my top 10 sort of game. Life is Strange. Now, I enjoy the storytelling and stuff, but I just, especially with this one, I just didn't get connected with any of the characters. And in a story-heavy sort of game, if you're not like with the characters, then it's not the best. I'll also say Kenna Bridge of Spirits, although it might have looked amazing, the game itself I felt played a little bit basic and simplistic. Beyond the Steel Sky. I added this on because I loved the original Beneath a Steel Sky, and I loved a lot of the Revolution Software games. I really enjoyed the... I completely blanked on the names of them. Broken Sword sort of games. And when they went into the full 3D sort of engine, yes, they had some teething issues and problems, but I still enjoyed the games. So this is like going back to the dystopia sort of like city. It looks very similar to the Fallout sort of games, but got the cell shaded sort of graphics, full 3D. Story seems really good when I got into it, so I think that's a really good little game there. I'm gonna say Crash Bandicoot 4. It played amazing, it looked amazing. Unfortunately, it's like 20 years too late, and it's just not in the league of these sort of games. Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart. Again, looked amazing, played well. I felt that they were very misleading when they were advertising the game. You know, jumping through dimensions and gates and all this. It only happens a couple of times through the game, and it's a very scripted sort of set of stuff when it happens. So I was very disappointed in that. Age of Empires 4. I've never really got into, like, fully into the Age of Empires series. This one looked amazing, it played well, but again, it's just not in my sort of game wheelhouse. This one, don't get me wrong, I love the developers. I can't remember the names, but I love the developers who used to do the simple arcade shoot 'em up action-y sort of games. They came back with Returnal for the PlayStation 5, which was a much more over-the-shoulder 3D action shooter game. And yes, it looks good, it plays well. It is very much like a shoot 'em up game rather than like an action platformery sort of stuff. But I just felt there wasn't enough on the game to make it worth, you know, to do. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19. One of our guys, which I can't remember who it was, but they sent over saying Dark Deity. But I don't know what that game is, so I'm gonna cross that off straight away. I might have a Google once we've sort of like gone through some more, to sort of like see if the game deserves it. FIFA 22. I don't think it's that much of a difference from FIFA 20, FIFA 21. I might be completely wrong, which I probably am. But to me, it's just treading water at the minute. Tales of Arise. I think it's a good, like, JRPG sort of game, but it's just not my sort of game. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, amazing games, but again, they're just like rehashes of the old games. They're not like full, like they haven't been built from the ground up sort of thing, and it's all been done before. So let's have a look. So all the games that are left, I will drop these into a list, just so we know where we are. So, and then we can work out how many games we have left. I think that one's going to get cut next. Oh, let's see how it goes. Okay, so that's that one moved down. 3 games down. I think a lot of them 3 will be off the list as well. Right, so where we get to? Resident Evil Village? I think so. I do like that game. That was good. And it's not the Resident Evil Village I was talking about either. That's a mint game, so that's definitely staying in there. That might even be a contender for Game of the Year. Metroid, I guess that stays on for now. And then I guess the first 3 games are staying in there for now. So I guess we've got, is it 15? Yeah, we've got 15 games left. So that's not too bad. So, yes, it was amazing, but Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, I keep pressing the wrong button, keep bringing bits up on the screen. So Ghost of Tsushima, I still can't say, that's probably why I don't want it to win. That comes off the list just because it is just a slightly polished version of the PS4 game. And it's just a bit annoying when developers, instead of like making a whole new game, they just keep porting these other games across. So let's have a look. What else have we got? Guilty Gear. Now I love me a fighting game, and there's not been a real good fighting game for a while really, but unfortunately, just because it's a good game and because I like fighting games, I can't justify putting that game in our top 10. So we need to get rid of 3 more games. Although I love this, and I think it was my game of the year last year, this is like the updated version, Tetris Effect Connected. I can take that off our top 10 list just because it won, or it was really high up on game of the year last year, and it hasn't really had that much, so I've added to it. It was more like just added online mode and little bits. This might shock a lot of people, but I am going to take off Deathloop for the simple reason I'm not a big fan of Arcane Software sort of games. I'm not a big fan of the way that they move and feel. I loved their story sort of games, but when it's based on a game where you just sort of like sat watching, it's like the same thing repeated, trying to get through and kill other proper enemies and this, that, the other. Whereas when you're actually going through a full narrative, I believe I like the narrative better. So I don't want to take that one off because I really like it, but looking at the games on the list, I think it's got to come off. Right. Hitman 3 has been removed. Again, I loved the Hitman games since IO Interactive has taken full control over the series again. The only thing I would say is they don't seem to have evolved that much from Hitman 2 than Hitman 3. I do like the fact that if you've bought Hitman 1 or Hitman 2, all the levels and all the features come into Hitman 3. I really do like that. More games should be like that. So we have 10 games now. So I will read through the games in no order. Sociable Soccer 21, Football Manager 2022, F1 2021, Halo Infinite, Psychonauts 2, Resident Evil Village, Forza Horizon 5, Metroid Dread, It Takes Two, and Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. So I will just sort of say we got sent a top 10 list from one of our Twitter followers, so I'm going to get your name murdered. I do apologise, but at I think it's Dr. Vampire, no, Dr. Vampanda 1998. So DRVAMPANDA 1998. So their top 10: Cold War, Vanguard, Spyro, Far Cry 6, Elden Ring, Ratchet & Clank, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Life is Strange True Colors, Dead by Daylight, and number 1, Resident Evil Village. So thank you so much for that. We'll send you a copy of a game. So just let us know. I'll send a tweet to you, but just either Steam or Humble Bundle, and we'll send that code out to you. So thank you. So moving back into our top 10 list, I think John Hare will be happy that Sociable Soccer managed to get into the chart, let alone, but I don't think he would have expected it to win. But Sociable Soccer, if anyone's not played it, I know it's exclusive at the minute to the iPad or the Apple ecosystem with Apple Arcade. It's fast, fluid, very fun to play. Get a control pad paired up to your iPad, your iPhone, your Mac. It is a very good arcade soccer game, really fun. I love the idea of cards and trading and all that kind of thing, and I like the idea that you don't put money in, it's just skill based game. So Social Soccer, I think I'll put that as our number 10 for now. And then I guess we'll put Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxies, because although it was a fun game, it doesn't scream Game of the Year. Next up, I will put F1 2021, because yes, it was an amazing game, but at the end of the day, it is just F1. You know, it is just Formula One.
Long ago, a young girl went with her mother to pick berries for her father, who was hard at work. But the forest
So next,
was empty.
let's get a bit of Metroid
Yet
Dread in
determined to
there.
find the berries, the rascal broke free of Mother's grasp and vanished into the trees.
And
Mother's
then,
wild cries faded fast as the girl ran
sorry,
out,
Football Manager,
over
you are
vine,
next.
under branch, and into the forest.
So Football Manager up there. Psychonauts 2, an amazing game this year. That can go there. Really enjoyed Psychonauts 2. I love the fact that you're inside people's heads and it's just crazy, over the top, wacky. I guess Resident Evil Village next, which again, an amazing game. I just don't think it evolved enough from Resident Evil 7, but that might just be me. And then next up, a game that's fun to play as a pair, and that is It Takes Two. Right, so there's 2 games on the list, both Xbox exclusives. Halo Infinite or Forza Horizon 5. Both have that killer gameplay loop of something happening every 30 seconds, keeps you interested, keeps you occupied, keeps your brain stimulated. The Forza Horizon 5 looks amazing. It's a tour de force of a game. It is stunning. It's 60 frames a second. It's gorgeous. Halo Infinite, one of the best multiplayer components of a first-person shooter that I've seen for years. Single player, bring the series right back on track. It's probably the best Halo game that 343 have made. The only thing I will say that detracts Halo Infinite is the fact of it hasn't got the wow factor with the graphics. It looks nice, it's fast and smooth, but it just doesn't have that wow factor. So for a Game of the Year sort of contender, which in itself the game is bloody amazing, I think I'm done. I think I have sorted the game of the year for One Up Gaming for 2021, and that, my friends, I'm done. Right. So in reverse order: Social Soccer 21, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, F1 2021, Metroid Dread, Football Manager 2022, Psychonauts 2, Resident Evil Village at 4, It Takes Two at 3, Halo Infinite at 2, and the One Up Gaming Game of the Year 2021 is Forza Horizon 5. So amazing game, amazing developers, Playground Games. Can't wait to see what they do with Fable, and I can't wait to see what 1010 Studios cherry pick some of the, because it's the Playground Games and 1010 Studios. One makes the Forza Motorsport games, one makes the Forza Horizon games, and each time a Forza game is made, the engine goes back to the developer for them to add their little bits in. So hopefully the next Forza Motorsport, it'll have all the rain, snow, all the other lighting effects that I think Forza Motorsport 7 had. But yeah, Forza Horizon 5, an absolutely stunning game, plays so well, and that is our top 10 list of 2021. So thank you everyone for listening, thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully we'll be back next year and improve everything. So from me, David, from everyone at the One Up Gaming team, thank you so much, and we will see you probably next week, but we will see you in the new year, hopefully improving and getting better. So thank you all. Goodbye.
What you want, I promise. I'm not gonna front, I promise. Though, let's go. I got what they can't unlock, and I rock with you when I drop it. Though, let's go. I got something they can't knock it. I got something they can't top it. Though, let's go. We love it, but that's the folks. I'ma keep it 300. We extra. Though, let's go. Can't be stopped. Gotta get out the box. Can't be stopped. Better get out the way. Can't be stopped. Gotta get out the box. Can't be stopped. Better get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way. What you want, I promise. I'm not gonna front, I promise. Though, let's go.